Doesn't it sound like heaven to love your teen so well that they can't help themselves but love you back? Welcome to Pivot Parenting. I'm your host, Heather Frazier. And together, you and I are going to build more peace and joy so that your family looks forward to being together in the fun times and so that you are strong enough to overcome any obstacle that your family might face. This is where small weekly shifts that you implement create lasting change so that peace and happiness can truly abound in your home. Welcome to Pivot Parenting, my friend. We are midway through our series on love. I love love. In fact, for Mother's Day, I got myself a cute little pair of jeans that has a heart on the back pocket. I love hearts. I draw them all over. I have a heart necklace I always wear. I just love love. I love the way that it feels in my body to extend love to another human. And I want you to ask yourself, when you're thinking about your teen, do you experience worry, frustration, a need for them to change, or for you to have more control over what is happening so that you can feel better? I know I used to do this a lot. I would bounce between anger and apathy and frustration and sadness, just trying to find somewhere soft to land. Then, because I cared about them so much, I would tie myself into a pretzel because I thought that if I got everything just right, that they would be happy and we would have a better relationship. But it never lasted that long, if it worked at all. If this is at all relatable, my friend, you could be misunderstanding and misapplying love in your family. Welcome to my 12-part series. Today is episode number 9 of 12. We are going to be talking about advocating. And a lot of people think that love is soft and tender and sweet, and it definitely can be. Love can also be courageous and fierce and brave. Think about a mama bear protecting her baby or standing up for people. I am here to help you put fear and frustration and heartbreak behind you. I'm going to teach you how to embrace love so completely that your relationship with yourself, with them, and with everyone else in the house can't help but improve. If this is the first episode that you are tuning in for, you want to begin at the beginning. They begin at episode 310, 311, and 312. These 3 foundational episodes are what we build the remaining episodes onto. So go back and listen to those 3 if this is your first episode in the love series. I want to create a base that you can learn everything else as best as possible to retain, to understand, and to apply. Today's episode, being able to advocate, is certainly important to understand safety, to understand self-love, and to know how to ground your emotions so that you can stand on solid ground to advocate for others. So those 3 episodes are pivotal in understanding to be able to apply advocating. Advocating, speaking up, using our privilege to protect others. That is what we are talking about. This is maintaining boundaries for ourselves and others. It is loving. It is not looking for a fight. So we have to look at what emotion might drive the advocacy. Now, always there might be a little bit of fear or anger or frustration because we see something happening that we think shouldn't be happening, right? Like a teacher is being unkind at school. There's friend group drama. Perhaps there's drama within a religious community or a neighborhood where parents or our kids' peers are being unkind. Of course, these close relationships may upset our nervous system, but we need to be able to ground ourselves, find a safe space, or provide a safe space, and that works best with love. Maintaining boundaries, like you don't get to tell my child that, or teaching your child how to advocate for themselves and define relationships and boundaries for themselves can feel really scary, and that's normal. But we need to make sure that the primary emotion, like 50% or more, is love for ourselves, love for our children, love for everybody else in the story. Now, the opposite of this could be yelling and fighting and being aggressive. It could also be abandonment. Not advocating for ourselves is letting people walk all over us. We can teach this inadvertently to our children. They might see this play out in a marital relationship or a sibling relationship or a parent-to-child relationship with us and their grandparents. Being passive and allowing others to mistreat you or get past you to mistreat them or their siblings is not loving. It is not loving to the person who is able to manipulate you. It is not loving to you, and it is not loving to the people who they are getting at past you. We need to offer our kids a more fulfilling approach to how to have healthy relationships. Now, of course, advocating we can think about on a national or global scale, and that is a really great thing. I want to focus on advocating in what we are more likely to encounter every day. So if our child is at school and somebody uses a racial slur, how are they supposed to speak up for that person? Maybe the slur is used against them or a classmate. Teaching them how to advocate, or advocating in our own marriage if there are behaviors or habits that are unhelpful. Or advocating for our child in a medical setting or an educational setting or religious setting. My friend, love is extraordinarily powerful. Love is change and growth and improvement. And love changes things for the better every time. Even if it takes a little bit of time for that seed to grow. Love never causes a net negative impact. And love, like courage, can only feel better once we've acted on it. The anticipation or the stepping up can feel really scary, very nerve-wracking. We can have a lot of anxiety about saying, hey, this isn't okay. I'm not okay with this. That can feel really scary, especially if we have a habit with that person that we would say it to that is the opposite. And we are simply permissive, meaning we allow things that we actually don't like. Advocating is essentially extending love to the weak, the marginalized, the less privileged. And this is our kids, this is their friends. This is our peers. This can be our parents advocating for them as they age. This is you and I using our wisdom and whatever privileges we have to help shelter those with fewer privileges. And so this is a great way to spread love in our family and in our community. When we're at family dinner and somebody makes a racist joke, not just laughing or not saying anything, but rather calling them out on that. And it can be done in a loving way, and I'm going to get to that. But that is loving the person that's saying the racial joke, because we're inviting them to grow and to see themselves more clearly. And we're advocating for the people at the brunt of their joke, because that's not okay, ever. Imagine your teen walking into the room and your heart skips a beat because you're so excited to see them. Just connection, love, and peace flowing between you. You're confident that no matter their mood, it's going to be okay. This is the powerful skill set my clients gain. Book a free Discover Your Disconnection Pattern call with me, and I will outline your exact process to find the peace, connection, and confidence in your teen and their future you're wanting. Visit my website, heatherfrazier.com, or click the link in the show notes. Remember, Frazier is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. I look forward to meeting and helping you. I have to say that right now I see a lot of false advocates in the sense that one party or one person is accusing others of being hateful and nasty and wrong, but then they're using the same tactics to expose, belittle, shame, try to get that other party or person to change. That's not advocating with love, and I would argue it's not really even advocating, it's just adding more fuel to the fire of what the world needs less of, which is hatred. Advocating in a loving way is inviting positive change. So let's just say hypothetically you're at family dinner and a cousin makes a racist joke. You could get mad at them and start yelling and saying how stupid they are. That's not advocating and it's not loving. Let me give you some real-time examples that you could use at a family dinner so that your kids can see how to do that, so that then if there's a racial slur said at school, they can model your behavior, for example. One response could be more humorous, like, hey, nobody's really laughing. Did you think that joke would go over better? Because that's kind of not cool. You could advocate with love. Hey, I love you. Like, what's going on? We both know that's not cool. Did you have a bad day? Like, how can I help you? Or we love that person, or we love that group of people. Like, there's no need to be silly like that. We can call out bad behavior while de-escalating the situation and extending love. The best way to extend love is to give that person an out, meaning so they don't lose face in front of the group in a loving way. Let's imagine somebody said something racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever. We can make it light and redirect, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Hey, I know what you mean. I think you're getting at how stressful life can be or that situation can be. And it's not really about women specifically or a certain racial group. We can gently reframe it. Hey, I think what you're trying to say is that anyone in that position would feel overwhelmed or would feel that way, and make it less about who they are being racist about. We can also normalize a better version. Yeah, people handle that kind of pressure really differently. I've seen both men and women struggle with that. I like humor and a shift. Careful, you're about to get canceled. You know, that's not cool. But really, I think it's more of a personality thing than a gender thing. So humor, a little bit of correction. And then, of course, we can always be curious. Do you mean women specifically or just in general in that situation? We can also do a smooth redirect. I've noticed that it comes down to more experience than gender or race. We want to assume good intent, that is loving. We want to offer them better phrasing or nudge their awareness that it's not cool what they're saying and allow them to agree with our reframe that is not sexist or homophobic or racist. We want to let them take the exit without losing status or without feeling shamed or embarrassed in the situation. Now, the angry part of us might be like, no, if they're making misogynistic remarks, I want them to be embarrassed. I want them to feel the shame that comes with being such a loser. That's not loving. Because we all get it wrong sometimes. And I know that you and I would never say anything to intentionally harm, but sometimes we still do because we're not perfect. And what we say might feel fine from our perspective, but when pointed out from somebody else's perspective might seem really offensive. Like the other day, we were in a group, it was a social group, it was just kind of chill. And I made some comment about death or something. And then I realized somebody in the group had lost a child. And I was horrified because I thought, I don't know if that person is offended by what I said. Because I I've made such a jest around death. And I didn't mean to say anything mean on purpose. And they didn't react. They didn't say anything. And I can talk to that person after the fact. But in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I just put my foot in my mouth. We're all on the wrong side sometimes. Some more blatantly than others. But we want to lovingly correct or call out behavior. Now, it's really important to know that we do this when we feel like there is a net positive gain. In some situations, we might feel that advocating or saying anything really won't help. Like, let's imagine you're in line somewhere and there's a person that seems quite literally unhinged, and they're making comments to somebody next to them in line that are unkind. And you don't want to address this person directly because you're scared that they might get physical. Okay, and of course I'm going to worst case scenario. So simply talking to that person, let's say it's a teenage girl next to you and it's some creepy dude making all these weird comments to her that are sexist and not cool. By simply talking to that girl and engaging with her and ignoring the person being disrespectful, that is another great way to diffuse and advocate. Simply talking to the teenager, like, hey, how's your day been? Would you like to come ahead of me in line? You're not alone. Like, let's team up. Would you like me to ask for a manager to walk you to your car? Whatever it is. Just talking to that person, making small talk, and making sure that they feel safe. That's also another really great way to advocate when we don't see that there would be a net positive experience for facing the hatred head on. All right, my friends, give this a try. Our children learn through example. Advocate for yourself in all of your relationships. Let your children see. Advocate for them. And this does not mean to snowplow all the obstacles out of their life. But when somebody in a position of authority or power is abusing that authority or power to manipulate and overpower another person, they need an advocate. So I'm not saying if you have a perfectly rational school teacher that you should go in guns a-blazing. Let your kid try to work it out with their reasonable teacher. But if you have a situation where there is a misuse of power, stepping in, expressing love for everyone, and putting up boundaries is the most loving thing. Because even that person who you're putting a boundary down for, they're not going to like it. But it is the only way that they can become more self-aware of their bad behavior. And not allowing people to behave badly at our expense is in fact a loving thing, because that is what invites self-awareness and potential change. I love you. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next time.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting stuff, including how confusing it can be. You've tried it all, and it's a lost cause. Crying in the closet 'cause you failed at being a mom. But think again, there's peace around the corner and there's hope in your hands. Your kid just wants your love and you want it from them. So take a pivot